I was obsessed with Shawn Mendes, like obsessed. When I was in high school, like obsessed.
I was this close. And bro, he was wearing the most tight-fitted white shirt a man could ever wear, and I could see his abs, and I was like,
There's
shit.
this joke
That kept me up at night. Highlight of my life. Hello. I'm your host Yanika, and welcome to Pillow Talk. If you're new here, this show is all about what keeps you up at night. So every episode, I bring in a guest that talk about the things they overthink about, and we dig a little deeper into their lives. In this episode, I have a really special guest. She's a really good friend of mine, and of course, one of my girls. We studied journalism together. She's a very talented and aspiring journalist. So let's welcome Aneesa Bhanji.
Yay!
She's very excited.
I'm very excited to be here.
Hi, Aneesa. How are you?
I'm good.
She got me bubble tea, guys.
I did.
But I put it in a glass because
Because
there was a little bit of
a mishap with the taro.
Do you know the theme of the podcast?
I do.
I do.
And I'm excited to have a really good deep
conversation.
Yeah.
So what's something that you overthink about usually at night? Could be anything. Work, studies, boys.
That's a really good question. I would definitely say work. Because I have a job where I'm constantly chasing stories and in that job there's never really a time when you're off the clock, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In journalism, in general, especially in news specifically, you're always thinking about what you're gonna pitch next, or what's the next story you're gonna chase, or just in general any ideas. So I feel as someone in a creative space, but also in journalism, I'm always thinking about what would be a cool idea. The ideas are always on the top of my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it. We have been in the creative school at TMU for so long now, and it's our final year.
Yes.
And we're both in journalism. Yay, graduate soon. I can't wait to graduate.
Yeah.
I feel I'm saying it now, but once I do graduate, I'm gonna be
oh yeah,
life is happening.
Oh, 100%. Because the thing is, I feel in the moment as university students, in the moment you're oh my god, I can't wait till after grad. I can't wait to get out. But then school provides such this amazing community. Whenever we're on campus, we always see people we know, and that's what I love about especially TMU. So I am gonna really miss that.
I know. Because once we were in high school, we were oh, we can't wait to get out of high school. Now it's I miss the high school life.
Yeah.
Because we used to live with our parents. It was so easy. Less
worries, less stress.
Now it's work, earn money, pay rent.
I know. A lot more responsibilities. That's definitely something that keeps me up at night, is the creative ideas. Also I feel just being in a creative field where you also have to be online to get ideas. A lot of the times I feel there are some TikToks that stay with me and get into my dreams at night. I don't know if that happens to you.
Maybe Jacob Elordi TikToks. If we want to go a little bit off track, my TikTok is filled with Jacob Elordi being spotted in the streets of Toronto, and I'm oh,
you know what?
Why do I never bump into him?
I know. One time my friend, and I was obsessed with Shawn Mendes, obsessed. When I was in high school, obsessed. So, and of course, everybody sees this man except for me. My friend literally saw him on the street.
I technically paid to see him. I mean, I wasn't at an Ed Sheeran concert, but then he was a surprise guest.
Oh my god,
bro!
You were there
I was
for that?
This close. This was Shawn Mendes. I would have pulled him. And bro, he was wearing the most tight-fitted white shirt a man could ever wear, and I could see his abs, and I was like,
there's this joke
that kept me up at night. That kept me up at night for a whole month. Highlight of my life. But anyway, circling back to journalism.
Yes.
And being in a creative field, I totally get that. You have to be on your feet thinking of ideas. They push us from the first year.
Yeah.
We had these news story days. We got 32 hours.
Yeah.
We had to find a story, pitch a story, get it approved, and then write the story, get interviews in the same day.
It was really intense.
We did that for 2 straight years.
Yeah.
And then I realized journalism is not for me.
The moment of realization.
The moment of realization when I was in third year, I was like, oh, like I went into journalism because I was like, oh, I would like being in front of the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like, oh, I like being in front of the camera for very different reasons. Different reasons, not anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best part about like school, and like you can really take your time to like figure it out. But like obviously, like as a student, it's still stressful because like there are moments where I'm just like, but I have like these interests and I want to combine this, and like also I think what keeps me up at night is like, how do I determine if I want something as a career or as a hobby?
That's
like,
true. That's
like,
very true.
You know, personally, I love like drawing and like design, and like for me, I'm like, do I want that to be my career, or do I want that to be a hobby? And that's where right now, like at night, sometimes I think about, oh, like how would my future be if like I were to do that as a career, you know?
Yeah, career uncertainty is real. I don't know how many times I've stayed up at night, be like, oh my god, did I choose the wrong field for myself? Our last guest, Aryan, like he talked about being an RTA. When I became friends with him over a year ago, I was like, this is what I want to do. What this man is doing productions on sets and like movies, like you know, I think that's what I'm meant for. And like I was like, oh my god, it's too late to change now. But then I found an outlet. I was like, you know what, if I can't study that at university, I'll make something else. So I started a food blog. I'm like, I'm starting a podcast now. Maybe it'll take me somewhere, maybe not. We don't know. But there's always hope.
Yes.
There's always hope. Like I even talk to my parents about it sometimes because of course international students, like a whole different thing. Like there's this external pressure to like do well, you know? Like we're spending like millions of dollars on you. And like you have to do something. So now I'm like, if I don't end up being a journalist, what else is there that I could do?
I think that's definitely like one of my biggest things that keep me up at night. I would also say like I'm a very like future oriented person, and like the idea of the future can also be something that I like think about at night. Like it is obviously scary because you're just like, wait, but like, and it's crazy because we're literally only 20, which is so young, but then it's like it just feels like you have to plan out your whole life.
People don't talk about being 20 and actually trying to think about the future because everyone's like, because if I talk to someone who's in like their 30s, they'll be like, oh, you're just 20, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, you have been through that age. How could you say that? You know, like you have been 20, 21. You know what it feels like to like try to like figure out, because we have like, if like we have people to like answer, you have yourself to answer, you have your parents to answer. You know, like what are you gonna say to them if you're not like I'm not saying you have to like settle down and be a millionaire by 25, but you have to have like a plan.
You have to have like a plan.
You have to have a plan.
And you know what? Like I think for me, what helps like ease that anxiety is like, okay, having like a plan like A, B, and C. Like for example, like after school, like obviously I would love to pursue journalism, but let's say I'm not able, like I do personally feel like I will find a job, but like let's say my life changes and I need something else. Like my other idea was like, oh, maybe I'll go into like teaching, right? Or like maybe I'll go do like a program where I'm like abroad and like doing that, or like something like that. Like I feel like having different options help like ease. And that's the thing I know for sure, like in my 20s, that's something I really want to do is like travel. And like that's like a really big like priority for me.
That's for sure.
I think the biggest thing in your 20s is like experience different cultures.
But
like I will say that like I think one of the biggest things that I overthink about is like the idea of falling behind. Right? And it's like, for me personally, like in your 20s, it's such a weird time because everybody is like, in my head, like in different places in their life. One person I knew is literally is literally getting married. It's just like such a different, like, because I'm not even like thinking about that. Like, it's such a different, like everybody, there's some people who like are getting married and some people who are like not even in that place yet. So it just like, the 20s is just a random
thing. It's so stressful sometimes because I keep telling my parents, like whenever they ask me like, what do you like, what's the game plan now, like what are you like gonna do after? I'm like, all I know is that I want to travel. I want to do something in travel. So I was like maybe PR, or like I actually want to be a travel journalist. If I'm actually going to go into journalism, I'd rather be a travel journalist. And then it's like, and I see people who are like 21, 20, 22 traveling, you know. I've seen people go to like Mexico and everywhere else, people go to Miami. And like I'm like, I wanna travel right now, but it's also like as much as I love to travel, I have to take care of my finances because I'm an international student, right?
Exactly.
So I have to like look after my rent, I have to like help my parents with tuition, I have to pay the grocery, the utilities, like everything. Everything like falls into one because I don't have my parents here, so it's like very different. And like I see international students going on trips, but it's like everyone's financial situation is like
different,
so different. Like
that's another
like
thing about your 20s. Like
I don't know if
spot.
your parents are paying for your trips. I don't know how you're doing it. For me personally, I wouldn't ask my parents. I want to do it by myself. And right now, my focus is to like just get through university, pay my rent, and maybe then travel. But at the same time, something that like really like I overthink about it, and I end that I can't sleep is like, oh my god, that person's going on a trip. Why am I not? You know, as much as I want to be that independent and like as much as I want to be like independent and be like put on social media, I'm out. Like as much as I show like to people that I don't care, I do. At the back of my mind, I do that. Oh, you're traveling and I'm not. So it's something that is really like something that people just like disregard. That you know, you have to have fun when you're in 20. Yes, you do, but also you need to be like, you have your responsibilities, you have to have the financial stability to actually go out and do your shit.
One of the biggest things in our 20s is like the idea of FOMO. And like I'm not gonna lie, I still get FOMO, like even though like personally like I'm so grateful for like you know everything, but like just on Instagram sometimes like you see someone and like that's a normal feeling. If someone's like on a trip or like they're doing this thing or whatever, they're with their friends or whatever, like sometimes like especially when you're just having those days, like when you're just like working or like when you're just like in your house like just doing school or something and you're like these people are like living their best lives, but what people don't realize is like on social media they're just showing like the highlighted version of it and like at the end of the day it may not actually be like as cool as like it seems, you know. Like I think the 20s is like you just gotta make the best of it.
Honestly, there's gonna be ups and downs.
Exactly.
There's gonna be hard times when you're like can't sleep, you're like oh my god, like what's happening in my life right now. But at the end of the day you get through it. There's you figure out, then you're stressing on then you're stressing when you're 25, you're gonna stress when you're 30. So it's like it's always gonna be like if you just focus on the stress,
it's not
like I'm 20 I'm stressing, I'm 21 I'm stressing, I'm 22 I'm stressing. It's gonna be there. But it's just the little things that matter, like you know, spending time with your friends, spending time with your family, going out, traveling if you can. And figuring out life, honestly. Which is fair.
But all the 20-year-olds out there, figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
You got this.
You got this. Whatever it is that you're overthinking about, career uncertainty. Making people around you proud. Just think that, honestly, I would say to like just YOLO, honestly. I don't have an advice. I'm not here to give you advice.
We're not going to give advice.
We're not here to give you advice. We're here
to relate.
This show is all about ranting.
I
get people here and you rant. We rant about the things we rant about to ourselves at night. That's basically. To our pillows, you know. To our pillows, that's something.
To our pillows.
But if you did have to give advice, what would it be?
I would say like it kind of goes you'll see how it relates. But I say like surround yourself with good people because those people will help you navigate life. You know, like life is so much better when you have like good people around you. Like just if you have a toxic person in your life, just X them out. And like when you like being in your 20s, in my opinion, is all about like having good people around you. And like honestly, I feel like when I started surrounding myself with like good people in university, like in first year when it started, like I met like a lot of good people. Like that's when I kind of like my FOMO kind of reduced because I didn't feel like I was lacking in a way.
Yeah,
you know
now
what
it's
I mean?
like I want to spend time with myself more.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
Like, I'm a social person, but sometimes it's like, oh, I cannot see another human face.
Yeah. You know what? Things pass. Like if things don't go, like you know what I mean? Like things don't go the way you planned. Maybe something's better is out there.
Something's better coming to you. Yeah. That was a good talk, I think.
Yeah? Do you feel like you got enough?
I think I think that's enough content. Thank you, Aneesa, for coming to the show.
This was so fun. This was so fun.
I'm glad you had fun. Anyways, thank you for watching and listening to Pillow Talk. I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, sleep tight with your pillows. Keep your stuffies closed. And I love you.
Sleep tight. Bye.